The first period, from their first introduction in 1620 to the first census in 1790, a period of 170 years. Such is the scarcity of materials and the difficulty of arriving at the scattered sources of information that I have called the following historical notice of the religious instruction of the Negroes in the United States a sketch. It deserves no better name, although, perhaps, it may embody the principal facts on the subject. For the sake of perspicuity, the sketch is divided into periods of time. The first period, extending from the introduction of the Negroes into the country in 1620 to the first census in 1790, a period of 170 years. The second period, from 1790 to 1820, a period of 30 years. And the third period, from 1820 to 1842, a period of 22 years. 1. Account of the introduction of Negroes into the colonies under the government of Great Britain. It was in the year 1501 that Isabella of Spain granted permission for the introduction of Negro slaves into Hispaniola, but such only as had been born in Spain or in slavery among Christians, and in the following year a few had been sent into the New World. In 1508 the Spaniards opened a direct trade in slaves, and imported Negroes into Hispaniola from the Portuguese settlements on the coast of Guinea. Ferdinand V, by royal ordinance, enjoined a direct traffic in slaves between Guinea and Hispaniola in 1511, and Charles V in 1512 through 13. In 1517, Charles V granted a patent to one of his Flemish favorites, containing an exclusive right of importing slaves, 4,000 annually, into Hispaniola, Cuba, Jamaica, and Puerto Rico. This favorite sold his patent to some Genoese merchants for 25,000 ducats, and they were the first who brought into regular form that commerce for slaves between Africa and America, which has since been carried on under such revolting circumstances and to such an amazing extent. 45 years after, in 1562-3, the English entered the trade under Sir John Hawkins and carried Negroes from Africa to Hispaniola, and in 1567 Queen Elizabeth protected and shared the traffic. Thus, the mother country was engaged in the traffic 45 years before the first permanent settlement was made in her American colonies, which was at Jamestown, Virginia, in 1607. The Dutch, in common with other maritime nations of Europe, engaged in the trade and a man of war of that nation from the coast of Guinea in August 1620, 4 months before the Plymouth colony arrived in America, landed 20 Negroes for sale in the colony of Virginia on James River, which determines the epoch of their introduction into the colonies. From this period, they were gradually, and at different times, introduced into all the colonies from Massachusetts to Georgia, and for the most part contrary to the wishes of the colonists. The first cargo of Negro slaves was brought into Boston in 1645, and though their introduction was denounced and the Negroes ordered to be returned at public charge, yet it was afterwards permitted and people engaged in the trade. In Maryland, acts were passed encouraging the importation of Negroes in 1671, and in this same year they were first introduced into South Carolina. They were legally admitted into Georgia in 1747,